welcome to another edition of Beer for Breakfast ABV. Yeah. Check it out. We're back behind the bar here at 91X World Domination Headquarters, complete with the blue wall. And joining us today is Carly Smith from the Rock Bottom in La Jolla. Yeah. And Carly is also the co-chapter leader of the Pink Boot Society here in San Diego. Yes. So very, very nice to have you here today. As you can tell, we're featuring the Pink Boot Society today. And with that in mind, Nicole Sykes is also here, everybody, on the board of directors for the Pink Boot Society and also the brewery lady at Benchmark Brewing. So thank you for joining us as well, Nicole.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Now we're going to try a couple of beers that are basically Pink Boots beers.
Yes.
And can you explain a little bit about what the Pink Boot Society is?
So the Pink Boot Society is a society of women that all work in the beer industry, whether you're in brewing, whether you're in advertising, marketing, sales, distro, kind of where if part of your salary or income comes from the brewing industry, we want you.
Now, as I understand it, the young lady doing the pouring here is the newest member of the Pink Boot Society.
Yes.
Right?
It's really the only reason that I started working at a brewery. I mean,
Let's be real.
So our whole thing is we want to help educate, inspire women in the beer industry and help further their careers.
And empower, perhaps.
heck yeah.
That's
Paul,
one of those
It's
words
rad.
too.
It's rad.
And you've tried some Pink Boot Society / collaboration beers before. I mean,
We've been brewing them for 3 years at Carl Strauss, and we've got a huge group of Pink Boots,
You guys really
brewsters
do.
at Carl Strauss, and we're stoked on that. We're happy to take part in
You guys roll deep at the Pink Boots meetings.
that. We roll deep.
Now, Danielle just poured the Pink Boots, Big Boots Brewster's Braggett IPA. As I understand it, there is a little bit of honey in here.
There's a good amount of
It's
honey
like
in
the
here.
Jesus and Mary chain, just like honey.
Yeah, it became a little bit boozier than I was expecting.
It's not a bad thing.
No, not a bad thing. Not a bad thing in San Diego, especially.
Right.
It's not usually my style. Being Rock Bottom, being a brew pub, I usually like to keep things a little bit more even keeled. But it turned out really nice. So it's a Braggett IPA, and Braggett is a mixed fermentation of malt and honey. In this, and we did 8 barrels of this, and there's 120 pounds of Temecula Valley wildflower honey.
Keeping it
And,
local?
Yep, keeping it local. And then we also hopped it in the kettle, and as well as dry hopped it with Citra and Chinook. So keeping it a little
So the
citrusy.
requisite for this year's Pink Boots brews had to be sort of an ancient style of beer
Ancient
or
style
historic.
or ancient historic fermentables. So honey is one of those honey and molasses are some fermentables that people used in historic brews, or a lot of people did historic recipes and recipes that are kind of predate prohibition
Right.
and like that kind of thing, and or ancient. I think somebody did like an ancient Egyptian beer recipe. I thought
That's
so.
fancy. Okay.
That's awesome.
That takes some
The
research.
Egyptians, they invented beer. Now, my question is, do the bees get drunk making this stuff?
No, but I did. I am giving a growler to the people that I got the honey from.
Yeah?
That's nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Same thing, basically.
Yeah.
Well, cheers, you guys.
This is delicious, by the way.
Yeah, it actually.
I'm sorry
this
I
is-
took a sip before
I
the
couldn't
cheers.
help it. It smells so
This
good.
is, yeah,
all did.
this is my first taste of it, so. Straight off the serving vessel. Not even on
Did
a
you give
tap yet.
the fermentation a little extra time because of the honey?
It actually fermented really, really fast.
Really?
Yeast loves honey. Not more than I thought it was going to love honey. So it really kind of blasted through it. Like I was expecting between a 6.5 to 7.5 beer, and obviously it turned into an 8.8% beer.
Well, is that why it's not very sweet? Because I would assume that you
So-
put that much honey in, it'd be a sweeter
But
beer.
the yeast ferments out all of the honey. So I feel like the flavor that you get from the yeast fermenting the honey, it is a little bit earthier, a little bit sweeter than when it just ferments out malt. But there is not a lot of residual sugars in this. I think it finished out at 1.7 degrees Plato, which is pretty dry, especially it's pretty dry, which I'm really excited for because my personal preference on beer styles, I like stuff to be really dry, like not a lot of residual sugars. You get
Especially in an IPA, it allows the hops to poke through.
the hops to
and-
come through, and that's what you really want with hoppy beers is you want the hops to be your forefront. But with this, I feel like it turned out really well. I keep on waiting for my beginner's luck to run out because I'm hoping I learn enough before it runs out that I can just keep on going with good beers. But like the honey is kind of in the forefront, but then the hops are kind of come through like on the finish. The Citra and Chinook are able to kind of like come through on the finish. But the honey is still there, especially with us, talking about that there was so much honey in there. I didn't want it to ferment out all the flavor as well as the sweetness.
So now that you've tried it, is this what you were envisioning it tasting like?
The flavor-wise, yes. A little bit boozier than I wanted, but I feel like it's going to be a fan with San Diego people. We like our booze here.
Nicole?
Well, not a lot of people know what a braggot is, so this is a great
Yes.
opportunity for people
education.
to learn, and that's the whole point of Pink Boot Society. So we've been doing the collaboration brew days for a couple of years now, and each year we focus on a different style. So we really get to be creative. We all get to work together. It's such a unique event, and people I don't make beer. They don't want me doing that behind the scenes. And I'm not great at it. So it gives me a chance to go back and get on the brew deck and really be involved in the whole process, which is totally different for me. So
off the
was
top of your
fun.
guys' head, do you know how many breweries in San Diego took part?
it's about 15.
15?
That's great.
That's a lot.
So
And each brew happened on,
within
which
a week
day?
of each other, because we had so many days going on, and
Was it an
we do
International
it
Women's
on
Day?
International Women's
Yeah.
Day.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we try and stagger them because certain people will have different schedules, especially with our Pink Boost meetings. We try and move them through the different days of the week because somebody always works Tuesday nights, somebody always works Wednesday nights, and so I think International Women's Day fell during the week. I think it was a Wednesday this week.
It's a Wednesday.
And so for the people that have the Monday through Friday jobs, I brewed mine on the 11th, which was the Saturday afterwards, so that the people who had the Monday through Friday jobs still had the opportunity to come in and get in on a brew day.
Yeah.
We also
that's
went
awesome.
up to LA and took part of a brew day with Three Weavers.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a
So
good
we did a
brewery.
little San Diego and LA collaboration in this whole thing as well. So
Yeah.
all about collaborating and getting to learn.
Super cool.
Yeah, and speaking of
beer.
collaborations, we're going to try the South Park Herb and Honey Gruit. Now, this is also a Pink Boots related beer,
Yes,
correct?
this was another Big Boots brew you participated on.
Yeah,
I was
so
out there.
Scott Blair with Hamilton's, Monkey Paw, that whole family. He's always been a really good supporter of ours. So I reached out to him about making another beer with us, and
Great.
he was into it because ancient ales. He loves nothing more than that. So he was like, "Let's do a gruit," and I was like.
Now, what is a Gruit?
So a gruit is a very ancient style of ale, and they used to call ales, those were just non-hopped beers essentially. So a gruit really shouldn't even have any hops, which is a very strange style of beer, especially for a San Diegan. This is totally out of their realm for the most
Yeah.
part.
Right.
So it really revolves around honey, and it revolves around herbs and spices. So I actually grabbed some rosemary from my yard. I walked down to the brewery
awesome.
and we picked some sage in someone's yard in South Park. Thank you for that. And we put some juniper berries into this beer, and there's local honey in this as well. It
Wow.
comes out to be over 2 pounds per barrel of honey.
That's
so,
a lot.
Yeah, a lot of honey in that too.
Yeah.
And we brewed it at South Park with a little collaboration with Monkey Paw as well. And there were probably about 20 women there that day. It was really nice.
This half growler is adorable.
That is
Cute,
great.
I know.
It is so cute.
Yeah.
It's
And I get the feeling, too, I mean, Scott would do everything 1,000% anyway, so.
And it was really great because a lot of his employees are only behind a bar, so they really don't get experience on the brew house. So he got all these herbs for us, and he was like, "Look, I want you to make all your little mixes, and we'll decide together what we like best." So he really made sure everybody was involved. We had a little story time learning about gruits and just ancient ales and different things about beer because he is such a great teacher. So it was a really fun brew day for us.
super earthy.
There are a few that are
Yeah.
more passionate than Scott Blair about beer.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So we're really lucky to have him as a supporter for Pink Boots.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Pink Boots.
Yeah, I agree. This is really earthy in a good way. It's got someone, I don't know how to even describe this. A lot of good earthy flavors.
It's really balanced.
Yeah.
It's very well balanced. I feel like you can You can go very wrong with herbs and spices in beer.
Right.
And so if you take a heavy hand with spices, you can go wrong very, very easily. And it's very well balanced.
Yeah,
very
we tried to be really
drinkable.
mindful of that.
Yes, yeah.
Because we wanted everything to play together and not overwhelm any part of it.
A lot of people don't realize that hops are kind of a new thing on the beer scene.
Absolutely.
Like, historically. So this is what a beer would have tasted like before hops.
This has gotten a really great response. I mean, even I myself, I'm not a lover of Gruits. I grew up beer drinking, in San Diego, so I like hops. So this is not something I gravitate towards, and I really, really love it.
So
Very drinkable.
Looking at Pink Boots, how long has Pink Boots been around now?
10 years.
So are you seeing like a recent up ramp of women in beer in the past?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think it kind of comes hand in hand with our increase in our craft brewing community as well as their women in beer. It's there's a lot of people ask me being a female brewer, like what is it like being a woman in a male dominated industry? That's always the first question. And it's just like, well, it's exactly the same for the guys. There is nothing different. I think the only difference is when I go to a beer festival, and my dad loves to come to beer festivals with me, and people think that my dad's the brewer.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun, and him and I have a very similar sense of humor, so we're always like, let's see how far this will go. Let's see how far they'll take this. And so this one guy, my dad, before I started making craft beer, he drank MGD religiously, and so he was never into beer. And so it's just really funny when people come up to the booth and they're asking him all these technical questions, and he's just nodding and smiling. And then eventually it gets to the point where they're waiting for an answer, and it's just like, well, you should probably ask my daughter over here because she's the brewer. And their eyes get so big, and they're just like, oh. And then they just walk away.
You're like, sorry, Dad's name isn't on the ground.
Thankfully in San Diego, it's a very inclusive environment, but there are a lot, this is an international organization. We have almost 1,500 members worldwide. San Diego, we have a 10th of that membership though.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing.
You're part of something really awesome here in San Diego. We all are.
Yeah.
And San Diego really, really drives what Pink Boots is up to.
Yeah, we do monthly meetings now. So we have once a month we have a meeting around town, and it's kind of funny because once we get near the end of the year, it's kind of okay, who wants to hold a meeting? And it's just everybody's like me. Everybody wants to hold a meeting because the San Diego brewing community, craft beer community, is so supportive of Pink Boots because they realize that it's women drinking craft beer is a growing facet of the market.
Yep.
And it's if you don't support that, it's we're all about the woman power a lot of the time. So it's when you see things that are women driven, a lot of women gravitate towards that.
And it started so organically 10 years ago. It's just the old brewmaster at Steelhead left her job, traveling around the country.
Shout out to Terry Farndorf.
Yeah, seriously. And
Terry.
yes, cheers to you. And just kept meeting women at breweries. And Laura Ulrich here with Stone was like,
shout out to Laura.
Yes, cheers to Laura too.
Yeah. Our national Pink Boots president.
Yes.
She's awesome.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kind of
okay.
a
She's
big
awesome.
deal.
She's kind of awesome.
But Laura was like, I've never met another woman that brews beer. This is so cool. So they were like, maybe we should all connect. And now 10 years fast forward, we're a nonprofit, and we're offering over 20 scholarships a year to women in the beer industry.
Amazing.
So it really is.
So you should start applying for scholarships.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I took Paul's final a couple weeks ago.
I teach at UCSD,
Yeah.
part of the
It
program.
may or may not pass with an 80. I'm just saying, right?
That's awesome.
Cheers to that.
She did too.
I didn't go to a single class. Just like when I was at SDSU. I didn't go to class.
She's learned a lot through the show.
So I guess you're just really smart.
Well, there's that too.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
From a guy's point of view, it's okay, I've been over 20 years making beer. It's awesome to see women more involved in the brewing community now. I mean, I'm not saying that from like an Uncle Touchy point of view or anything. I'm saying it because I've always said women have greater senses of smell and taste than men do, and they're more articulate when it comes to the recipes and all of that stuff.
We're really good at multitasking.
There's that too. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, something I had learned from Linda Hess, Mike Hess's wife, is that women have their taste buds are a lot more sensitive than men's are. So women are able to take a little bit more like what the flavor profile is versus men. And she's like, that's why it takes a little longer for girls to get into IPAs. I was like, aha.
Yeah. I didn't start getting into IPAs until I started brewing them. I was not a fan of them whatsoever. I mean, because I started with Gordon Biersch, and I was like, German style lagers is the only way to go.
Right. Which
I still love my German style lagers. Like Gordon Biersch Export, Gordon Biersch Märzen are two in my top 5 beers of all time. But at the same time, when I started brewing IPAs with Rock Bottom, and I was like realizing the intricacies of the different hop styles and the different aromas and like what you can get from your kettle hops and then your dry hopping hops and like the different flavors you can get to, then I kind of started like tasting them and seeing them from a whole different viewpoint. But it is definitely, but then there are also the people that will come up to me like, I'm really trying to like IPAs. And I'm like, it's beer. like it's just it's not wine. Like just drink what you like. It's like we're low key.
Well, and we're gonna pivot back to Rock Bottom because we're gonna sample another
Yes.
IPA.
Yes.
The La
An
Jolla
IPA.
Mosaic IPA.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of IPAs.
Yeah, that was a nice segue
Yeah.
built in there. That was great.
Yeah. So this is my La Jolla Mosaic IPA, which is a Mosaic. It started as a single hop Mosaic IPA. And then I think I just wanted a little bit more depth to it because it has become our house IPA. And so I added a little bit of Citra in the kettle and a little bit of Citra in the dry hop. Citra kind of balances out the pininess of the Mosaic for me.
Smells like Mosaic.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got that Mosaic smell, that little bit of blueberry and mango and grapefruit.
Yeah.
That's nice. It smells clean too.
Yeah, we shoot for clean beers. I feel like that's everybody's goal. Yeah.
Super good.
That's great. Really well made. Good
Yeah.
job.
It's a popular beer?
Yeah. Yep. It is the bane of my existence.
No.
I go through 6 barrels a week of it, and just at the brew pub. I'm like, yeah. It's
There could be worse problems to have. I
There
suppose.
is. I know. Every time I complain about
People like Carly's beer.
I know. Every time I complain about it, people are just like, really, Carly? Really? You're complaining that your beer is selling too much? And I'm like, I know.
Maybe you want to be brewing a lot of other things and you're
I
stuck
try
brewing
to
this.
keep at least 10 to 12 different beers on tap because we are a brew pub. So I like to have, like, my goal as a brewer is to have something for everybody, which is why I try to have, in San Diego you have to have a few IPAs on. A few to keep everybody happy. But then my favorite style of beer is brown ales. So I try to keep a brown ale on every once in a while. But then we've got my malty red, like Irish red style, something dark.
Something light, like a Pilsner.
Something light. I can't keep a Pilsner on too much just because I don't have the tank space for it. I've got an IPL on right now that I really
works.
like. Nice. Yeah. But I keep a Kolsch style blonde on all the time.
Ferments a little quicker.
It ferments a little quicker, yeah. And that one's like my second most popular beer. But it's nice. I just try to have a lot of different things on. Being a brew pub, I want to be very approachable because the only beers we have on are my beers, which is a little bit nerve-wracking sometimes because I'm walking through I have these like epiphanies while I'm walking through the brewery, like through the bar, and I'm like, everybody's drinking my beer. And I'm like,
That's so awesome. That's so cool.
it is, but it's also really scary at the same time. I'm like, oh shit, if I fuck this up.
You
like,
got this thing.
They're not judging, they're enjoying, they're having a good time, they're with friends.
Now that I've gotten really into wearing my overalls because it's super awesome because I can go to the brewery in yoga pants and then wear my overalls on top.
Yes.
And I'm still being OSHA safe, like I'm being chemical safe, but I feel like I'm wearing yoga pants. So, but now I'm much more visible because I would used to just wear like, pants and it was whatever. But now that I'm wearing my overalls, people don't just like wear overalls.
Oh, wait a second. She must be someone.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, cheers. Here's to
Yes.
it. The La Jolla Mosaic IPA.
Cheers.
Yeah.
You guys are badass.
Thanks, you guys, for coming by and talking about Pink
Yeah.
Boots. Any events coming up that we should be aware of?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Big events.
The mother of all events.
Yes.
So for the 10th anniversary, we are having a conference and a beer festival here in San Diego because it is the hub of Pink Boots and we can't wait to celebrate. So June 2nd and June 3rd.
Oh, that's right around the corner.
Yeah, a little bit.
Not stressful whatsoever.
Wear your overalls.
June 2nd, the conference is going to be at the Lafayette. And it's going to be an all-day conference. There's going to be 2 different tracks. One's going to be more brewing intensive, and the other track is going to be all about the business of beer. So we actually have a lot of local people who are going to be speaking and on panels, like Karen Barnett of Small Bar is going to be on one of the panels. Ingrid will be on a panel too from High Dive. And Susie Baggs, who owns a distribution company here in San Diego. So the conference is going to be cool, but then the next day, everybody can come and hang out with us at the first beer festival Pink Boots has ever thrown.
Yeah.
So it'll be on, Saturday, June 3rd. It's going to be at Liberty Station. Tickets are on sale now. And we're going to have over 30 breweries. Rock Bottom will be there. There's actually going to be like 6 or 7 different beers that were brewed for the Big Boots Brew for our big collaborations that we do. And they're not even just all San Diego ones. So we're going to have beers coming in from all over the United States. Members are flying in from everywhere. It's going to be rad.
What's a good website?
The 10th anniversary.pinkbootsociety.org.
The 10th anniversary.pinkbootsociety.org.
If you just make your way to the Pink Boots Society website, you'll find it.
pinkbootsociety.org, and then from there you can get to our 10th anniversary site, which has all the info.
All right.
Yeah, it's a culmination of a lot of hard work and a lot of years of fun that are paying off in one giant party.
All good stuff.
Yeah.
Carl Strauss will be there. You guys have also been a really good supporter of our scholarship program, which is something you guys
Nice.
deserve
We
a
do
shout out
scholarship
for.
we send people off to beer school. And
Yeah, really important.
Well, I have to say, I'm so stoked to be a part of this.
Yes.
Like, I've met just like the raddest, coolest women in
The
beer.
best
since-
people.
Seriously, yeah. And so, like, I'm so stoked for this. So
Well,
I
'cause,
can't wait to get to know you guys
Like,
better.
beer people are obviously the best people, but then
All genders of beer.
But beer women take it to another level,
but
right?
people who are involved in the Pink Boots Society are just extra cool because they want to be a part of something bigger than themselves, and
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing.
We all. Kaiser Wilhelm said, I'm trying to paraphrase, give me a woman who loves beer and I'll conquer the world.
Conquer the world.
Right?
I have that quote in my brewery.
Wow. Very cool.
Yes.
To my future husband.
Wilhelm. Carly Smith, Nicole Sykes, everybody. Thank you for making time to join us on Beer for Breakfast ABV.
Thank you.
Really nice seeing you. Good luck with the event in June.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
See you there.
And you can find out more about Beer for Breakfast ABV and all of the Beer for Breakfast radio editions on 91X at 91x.com. And we'll get the links on there for Pink Boot Society, too.
Cheers.